So last week we recapped the first 10 irrefutable laws of leadership, and this week I'm going to try and get through 11 through 21. Let's see how we do. So, law of inner circle. You are influenced by the people around you, and so you want to be very careful about the people you let into your inner circle. That's the law of inner circle. The law of empowerment. If we rise people up, they will rise up with us, right? Secure leaders, people who are confident leaders, they want people to grow, they want people to succeed. Law of the picture. If they can't see it, they can't follow it, right? You want to make it crystal, you want to make it clear what you're trying to accomplish for your followers in a way that inspires them. And then what happens there is the law of buy-in. First they're going to buy into you as a leader. That has to come first. If they don't trust you, like, hey, maybe they believe in the vision, but like, I'm not following this guy to it, right? Then if they buy into you and what you're and the picture you're painting, oh my gosh, that's where the buy-in really becomes strong. Look, law of victory is next, man. If you can find a way to win, your team will believe in you. Like, oh, this guy can make it happen. This is where I want to be at. People are attracted to winners. Law of momentum, and sometimes like what that's about is you start to have a couple of smaller wins, and it leads to bigger wins and bigger wins and bigger wins, because your team starts to think like a winner. Your team starts to act like winners, and that just feeds itself. It feeds itself. So once you're at that point where you have that law of momentum behind you, then what starts to happen is all sorts of things start to come in your space, and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, and you probably could do each of those things. But you know what? You have to be careful when you're choosing those. You have to use that law of priority to determine which is really a fulfillment of the mission of the organization. Right? What's being fulfilled here? Not just your personal mission, but the mission of that group, right? So we need to take a look at that. And as you do that, as your organization, your leadership expands, you can't be great at everything. You have to prioritize, and you also have to sacrifice. It means you're gonna have to give up on some things, because every time you make a choice, you're making a choice not to do something else, and that sacrifice can sometimes be a pretty heavy cost. But it's also a privilege. It's that privilege to give up something good for something better. And you have to look at the right timing for these things. So the law of timing says you have to choose the right time for a thing. Otherwise, it can be ineffective, or actually can lead to a disaster, right? But if you've got the timing right, you got the momentum behind you, people believe in you, then what starts to happen is you're rising up these leaders, you're empowering people. Hey, that's where we start to see that explosive growth, where the people on your team are doing this, and they're causing other people to do that with them, and you're doing that with the very top of your organization is just all moving up together and drawing in more talent, more passion. Law of explosive growth. And then the question is, so what? The law of legacy is the so what do we leave behind when all this is said and done? What impact is bigger than us? What impact does the organization have in the world?